Good evening. Happy Thursday. All right. What's happening, lads? All right. Just had a nice cup of Rosie Lee, ready to get into it. You all right?
Are you speaking in code? Rosie Lee? What?
Yes.
Thursday.
Cup of tea. Cup of tea.
Cup of tea. Got it. Yeah, all good. All excited for this. Some good books to talk about tonight.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, all right. It's fun. It's all good.
It's gonna be fisticuffs.
Put 'em on.
Why I oughta.
How are you, Andy? Are you all good, boys? Are you all good?
No, shit. Next question.
Okay. You throw me when you do shit like this, man, because I don't know. Like, I'm used to positive Andy. So,
Do you ever get one of those days where everything that could go wrong does go wrong?
every Thursday coming on the show, you guys.
Wow. Harsh.
There we go. No,
Harsh,
but it's good. It's another good. It's another good. But Andy, anytime you need a cuddle or anything, just let me know, and I'll store them all up. And then when I see you at Thought Bubble, I'll unload all over you. Oh my god, that's just
Oh my life. Not again.
Not again.
Not again.
Jesus, it's Yoda with the duvet all over again, isn't it?
And I just thought this day couldn't get any worse.
I'm trying to improve it, man. I'm trying to improve it. Obviously, the Cockney love isn't what you're familiar
The
with.
what love? The what love?
The Cockney love.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Go to the chat quick. Just
Go to the chat. Anyway, us three here are absolutely we're loving life, as you can probably tell. Kevin was in at 7:45. Is it time yet? How about now? Not yet. Now we are. Now we're in, Kev. Good evening, Leon Russell. Thank you very much for joining. Looking forward to tonight's show. So are we. We've got Dr. Von Hoot is in the building. Good evening. All. We've got Deadman. Good evening. We've got Wayne Deacon. Hello from his sick bed.
Oh, mate.
Now then. And I've gone back and said, hope you're well, Wayne. What's wrong with your bed now? Hey, what's wrong with your bed, Wayne? Why is it sick? Then we've got Mr. Triple G. We've got Perpetual Comics. Wayne has got a funky belly and waterfalls. Okay, sounds like a theme park, but there we go. Leon.
Is that code for the shits?
I think so. Great way to start the show. Which STD is it this time, Wayne?
All of them. Yeah,
the one I got off you, Leon. There we go.
Oh.
You two need to get a room. Oh, it's a bad one. No cure for that. Not fun. Anyway, so, right, is someone missing? There's no one missing. No one's missing. There's Dumb and Dumber. We're all here. So, yes. But it's been a good week. It has been a good week. Last week there was good comics, 2 good comic choices. Peter, you wasn't fond of one of the comics. I don't think you said you enjoyed it that much. So I'm interested to see what you thought of Creature of the Lagoon.
Oh, no, that was Andy. Andy said it wasn't very good, so I went into it quite negative, I have to say, reading it this week.
Okay. Well, we might as well just should we do something different? Let's no, scrap it. Let's get straight down to business. The business end of the show is the one and only. Every single week I forget to take my headphone out for that because it bursts your bloody eardrum. Really does. But it is. It's all good. It's all good. So, Killer Covers, May 1st. This was New Comic Book Day yesterday. You know the drill by now. 3 comic books are chosen. 1 winner prevails. Normally Andy, not me. But you never know. Things might change.
It's then your week.
I've just seen a pig fly past, so maybe not.
Apparently it's your week. It's your week this week,
yeah.
Ellie. You were getting a lot of love on IG.
Yep.
Well, it cost me a fortune on PayPal, so massive shout out to everyone that's sent me my comment this week. So thank you very much. Up first, Andy.
Oh, I went for Feral issue number 2, Image Comics. This is I've been showing a lot of love for Bird City Comics. Shout out to Bird City. Last week we had their 3 Batgirl covers. This week I've chosen their C2E2 Forcing on Fleets It Chapter 2 movie poster homage, which is a bit of a mouthful. This week wasn't a great week for covers, I must admit. I found it quite a challenge to find a decent one. But of all the comics, this was the one that caught my eye. This was one that was just felt a little bit different. And it's obviously a play on the original Stray Dogs cover that they've done. So this is a book that I would be picking up, just for pure cover wise. I think it would look great displayed and CGC'd and all that good stuff. And it's got a nice simplicity about it, so
Yeah.
I quite like this one. What about
No,
yourself?
I think out of Feral too, like all the covers that come out, like obviously they're massively known for doing these movie homages. But yeah, this one I would say is the best one out there. Like, I like the fact that it's so simple. But would you struggle? Like I'd like to get this CGC, but I think other than going through Slab Crusaders, this would be a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, what the white cover and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Definitely, Slab Crusaders would be the best option
Yeah.
for you for this one. But yeah,
You're getting some good love for this. Beep beep, like that one, and it's simple but very nice. Meh, it's fine. And I'm just not feeling this one. It's not great for me. I have to disagree. I think there's enough on it to draw you in. If you hadn't read Feral #1, you wasn't aware of it, this was something that would pique my interest on the shelf. So I'm with you on this one, Andy. I think it's a good cover.
I'm glad you are, because nobody else seems to be loving it. My days just get even worse.
I think if you're a horror fan and you like the It movies, you'll recognise this straight away. Do you know what I mean? This will jump straight out at you. Whether I would immediately recognise it as Feral, because it doesn't. I mean, does it look like a cat?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would mistake that for the It cover. That said, I am a big fan of the kind of the clean whites of the cover. The eyes, I think, look very cool. And the placement of the two, I think, is very good. I like that. So yeah, it is. I think it's a nice cover. I do like it.
Do you know what this reminds me of, especially looking at Horizon stuff? Is it Ghostbusters 1, where the two gargoyles?
Yeah, the dogs.
Yeah, it looks like that. And
Yeah.
that's like when I thought I see that, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. But I think it's simple, and it literally does a job, and it's got us talking about it, so it's done what it's done. So yeah, good pick there, Andy, mate. But Bird City Comics, they had a couple of covers last week, didn't they, as well, for the CEB2. Perfect.
Oh, they had a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've gone for I'm jumping on the Deadpool movie madness. I've gone for Deadpool and Wolverine World War III issue #1. This was the J. Scott Campbell web store undressed virgin variant. Tom managed to pick up some of these, and massive kudos to Tom, because he sent us a message and said, did anyone want us to pick us up for anything? I said no, and now looking at this, I really don't know why, because I absolutely think this is great. I don't know why I didn't tell Tom to pick up one of these, but this is great. I mean, it's Deadpool, the artwork is J. Scott Campbell. Not really much more to say about it. I like the fact that they're playing a bit of a no trade dress, and they've blacked out or whited out the title page and stuff, but I just think it's great. I really, really like it. And it's good to see J. Scott Campbell doing men covers instead of the women. Yeah, you see what I did there, Andy? I nearly forgot. But yeah. So what about you guys?
You got loads of love for this on Instagram, and people in the chat are gushing over it. Fuzzy's gushing over it. You know, everybody loves it. It just does. I'm really sorry, because I want to love it because everybody else does. It does very little for me, I have to be honest. I don't think I'm that much of a fan of J. Scott Campbell's work, if I'm honest. But that's just my personal taste. I like the fact that the title is kind of blanked out. That looks pretty cool. Yeah. I'm obviously missing some. I'm being honest. I'm obviously missing something because I don't get the love for this, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair enough. Andy?
I'm in agreement with Peter. I think this is one of the poorest J. Scott Campbell covers that he's released. I think it's an absolute travesty that he released it in the first place, because he seems to be homaging himself at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need just give his original stuff. I don't quite understand the actual sort of greyed out trade dress behind them, which you can hardly sort of read. At least I can with my old eyes. But I don't think there's ever a case where I would need a semi-naked Wolverine and Deadpool on a cover. And it's puntastic, no trade dress, no dress period, lols.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I did appreciate is the fact that Deadpool's toe is sticking out from his sock. I did have a little giggle to myself on that one, and I do appreciate his boxer shorts. But apart from that,
That's right. That's fair comment. It's fair comment. As you said, it wasn't a strong week for comic covers, but yeah, it is what it is. So I'll take the criticism and I'll take the positives from it. Okay,
and you'll ignore it.
And I'll fucking ignore it. There you go.
Okay. So it was a slow week this week, I think, to be fair. Just as a side note, guys, I'm hearing really good things about the new miniseries from Marvel, this Blood Hunt.
It's amazing.
But is it so? But what I would say, Andy, is some prick on, I think it was Facebook, put an image up of the last panel, so I've seen the twist without having read the book, which really pisses me off. Do you know what I mean? I hate it when people do it. Anyway,
this is why I follow the groups, but I don't. I
don't know why people. Anyway,
it's ridiculous. Yeah.
So negative space. I think we've talked about these before. I'm not a massive fan of them, but I don't know. Something about this one jumped out at us. I like the fact that it's kind of his original kind of green overcoat and whatnot, a bit of a homage kind of thing going on there. I quite liked the stakes and the sword work and all the rest of it. It's different. I think that's what jumped out at it for us. It is a different image to what I'm used to seeing. If I'm really honest, bastard. If I'm really honest, will I rush out and buy this? No, I'll not. But from what we're looking at, this is kind of what I thought looked pretty decent. Chris, this is god awful, Peter. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but for me, do you remember the old like the kids dot-to-dot books where you had to join a number and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I think out of all the negative space variants I've seen, this one would lend itself perfectly to that. Just literally a little number and you draw it yourself. I don't know why it's getting so much negativity. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I think people are a bit. It's a bit like when we were talking the other week about what were those head covers you were collecting, Charlie. I think people initially are really keen on stuff, and then you hit saturation point, and people think, actually, do you know what, another bloody negative space. But actually, the image itself is the image itself is pretty good, I think.
Yeah, Andy,
I think John Tyler Christopher has moved into the realms of Peach Momoko. And that because there is so many of these now, that people are instantly disliking them. It almost feels like this cover is, when you used to use MS Paint back in the day, and you used the bucket tool, and you clicked on the wrong part, and it just filled the colour with the one colour. This cover feels like this. I didn't appreciate, like, the lime green was the original sort of suit that he wore and stuff like that, so I kind of didn't get it. But I've ordered it, and again, like Scott Young covers, I've just ordered it because it's another JTC cover, rightly or wrongly. But you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is. And I'm just going to go quick for people that have joined in. So we've got Peter's, we've got mine, and then we've got Andy's as well. Someone said in the chat, Andy, that yours would have been better if there was a couple of balloons on it. A couple of red balloons.
Yeah.
There's 3 balloons on the screen right now.
Infuriating. There we go. But the vote is live over in the chat on YouTube. So place your votes and we'll find out at the end who wins nothing. So moving. All right, we've got some new comments. What was one of the comments? It was, Deadman, I was brought up that if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. So I won't say anything about any of the 3 covers.
Wow.
And then Batman said, can none of you win this week, please? They're all pretty wank. Wow. Okay. There we go. So, okay, moving swiftly on to my eyes. This will be a short one this week, Pete, because it's just yours.
Just me? Am I the only one that's picked something?
Just you.
Now. We, myself and Efren, interviewed the writer of this book earlier in the week, and it was very, very exciting. So I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to reading it. And there are some stunning covers for this. It's Dynamite again. So Dynamite seem to be putting an awful lot of time and effort into producing excellent looking covers for their books that perhaps don't necessarily translate. I'm looking at you, Thundercats, don't necessarily translate into quality on the page. So I'm keen to read this one. Anyway, when I was flicking through, you know, I'm a fan of foil, but Crisis is shit foil. This just looks cack to me. I just don't get it. And I don't get the legs either. The legs, again, it's like he's got no groin. What's going on with these?
It looks like he's pissed himself.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
I can't unsee that now. Yeah, it's just... So, yeah, this just jumped out as looking particularly cack, if I'm being honest. Not a fan of it at all. Yeah.
It just looks. It looks like that. It looks too small for the page. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks like a tiny little sketch. And it's like, oh, that'll do. Then we put in some pissy yellow, and
It reminds us as well of, what was the cartoon character who had the massive top half and the tiny little waist and legs? Is it Johnny Bravo? I think Johnny Bravo, didn't it?
Yeah, Johnny Bravo. Yeah. Oh, mama. Yeah, but this is the comic's not too bad, to be fair. Like, it's actually not that
Not
bad.
read it yet.
But this cover is
Is this a normal Space Ghost pose where he's punching himself in the face?
No idea.
It's weird, isn't it?
What's happening with these hands and the space between his fingers? Is it Space Fingers or Space Ghost?
It's huge. It just looks all out of proportion, like the size of his belt compared to his legs, compared to his pissy
God, I'm
pants.
angry
compared to his
today.
arm. It's just, it's not great. It's not great. So, yeah, exactly. And Batdan has said apparently 26 variants are there.
Yeah,
there are
some
some
great
really,
ones.
really good ones. And then imagine someone paid to have this as an exclusive.
Well, you know, we should talk at some point about the craziness of variants, because I mean, Thundercats is still on issue 4 or something now, and it's still ridiculous numbers of covers per book. You know, it's mental.
Yeah. But this is, I've got to be honest, if this was cover A, I would not be picking this up. It's shit.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks like a tinfoil variant. It looks like something in the kitchen and unrolled a piece of tinfoil. It's so bad.
And James is right. Dynamite do love variant covers.
Absolutely.
They do.
Yeah.
For Red Sonja, they put out about 65 a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining at all. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Stick to what you're good at. Don't do fucking little like fag packet sketches.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Leave that to James. Leave that to Comic Deal. So that's my eyes. Shocking this week. So, but the covers, and that's all done. Moving on to the comics. So week 17 was last week. The two comics that won the vote were Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives, issue number 1, a new edition from the Universal Monsters series, and we have the Infernals issue number 3. Up first, we've got Infernals issue number 3. We've got two covers, main cover by John Pearson, and then we've got cover B by Sam Wolfe Connolly. This is written by Ryan Parrott and Noah Gardner, and the interior art is done by John Pearson. Andy, you are the one that first got everyone onto this, so massive kudos to you for that. I've enjoyed it so far. What did you think of this issue?
I was so looking forward to this issue, and it's very few comics that I'm really excited to read the next issue. I think this particular issue kind of took it a little bit differently with regards to the approach that it took. So it sort of focused on Jackal's perspective, which I thought was quite cool, and because it allowed you to sort of build up a bit more narrative about the character and what he was about, because he's kind of been in the background almost a lot of the time over the last couple of issues. So it gave him a decent insight into what sort of character he is and the sort of relationship that he has with the other members of his family. Again, the art for this was fantastic. It's been really consistent. I thought the pacing of the story was good. I was conversing back and forward with Fuzzy Dunlop because there was parts of this book that confused me a little, and it felt as if there was panels missing. It felt as if there was a couple of characters that get introduced.
I'm glad you're not the only person that said that. That's what I was going to add.
I was almost sure that 3 or 4 panels were missing on this, and to the point where it slightly annoyed me when I was reading the book, and I had to read this 2 or 3 times to get to a point when I understood what was actually happening. I think because there's such a big cast of characters in this book, that I think what it's failing in doing is actually pinpointing one particular character.
Yeah, definitely.
And keeping with it, so you get a wee bit lost. I'd say the last thing I'd leave it with is just the fact that I like the fact that they were kind of linking in with the fact that you never make a deal with the devil.
Mhm.
So obviously Jacko's made the deal and he signed it in blood, and it kind of looks as if it's going to be in relation to the deal that his wife is trying to make with the devil, and saying, "Oh, we marry me, let's get back together," and all that good stuff. So I like the way where that's going. But yeah, I think now I know that Peter doesn't like me to use the word filler issue. I think this was a building issue, but I just didn't understand where it was building to. It confused me quite a lot.
Yeah, I think if I'm being honest, I think the story, as Fuzzy said, this was the weakest of all three. I think the only saving grace, excuse the pun for this, was the artwork. I think the artwork was phenomenal, and the artwork kept me engaged. There were some parts where I was just like, really? Like I lost my train of thought. In issues number 1 and 2, I was constantly reading it, thinking, this is great. This is the untold story of good versus evil and stuff like that. Really, really interesting. This for me was just like, it's for me, for the majority of the issue, it just seemed like sibling rivalry constantly. We didn't really get anywhere. And I've got to agree with you, Andy. I think it was a bit much of a filler. We didn't really get anywhere until the last, 2 or 3 pages, which even then weren't great. But Ryan Parrott seems to do this. Like, he did it with with Power Rangers for like 3 or 4 issues of the new run that he did before he dropped off it, and it was engaging. Then I kind of switched off it and was like, I don't want to say it, but it's kind of like the Jeff Lemire effect. Like, it grabs you, it gets you involved. You think, oh, it's going to be great, and then it kind of just slows down. I was hoping this issue was going to keep up the fast pace and stuff, but it just seems to have slowed down. But yeah, it was all right. It was interesting. It was good. I enjoyed it, but I wanted more. Pete?
Okay, so let us start by saying I think this is a great comic series. I think the artwork is brilliant. I'm loving the narrative. I'm loving the overall story. This issue still entertained us, and I still enjoyed it. But for me, there was a definite drop in pace from the last 2 issues. And I started smiling as soon as Andy started talking, because I was worried that it was just myself. Because there was points in this when I was reading it and I was getting myself confused. And I was thinking, I'm not really sure who's who anymore or what's happening here. And I thought, is that because I need to go back and read issue 1 and 2 to get it in my head again? But now that you've said it, I think it's more likely that parts of the story just seem to jump around, or it felt like there was stuff missing from it that didn't spell it out as clearly as perhaps previous issues. That said, I still enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? It was still a good read for me. Love the artwork, love the story. Said it before, this will make an amazing little mini series on Netflix or something like that. But yeah, this wasn't as good as the last 2 issues for me. Still good, but not as good.
There we go. Fuzzy has said, Infernals messing my head at times. This was the weakest issue so far, in my opinion. The blank panels are ridiculous. Odd choice. I don't know why they would have done that. Kevin has said it seems like it's going to pick up in the coming issues. Fingers crossed. Von Hoot, Infernals was still good, but it's a character build for Jackal. After that, he seems like the main character. I think that's what they was edging towards, and I think the way that they've played on that, with the devil wanting him to take over the mantle to become the main character, I think they've kind of played into that pretty well. Fuzzy has then said the last 2 issues have been about 2 sons, so I imagine the next issue is about the daughter, so maybe more of the same. And Parrot also said on his Instagram that this is the first arc, so it sounds to me like there could be more to come. Hopefully. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is enjoyable. I just thought this was a pretty weak issue, but you know what, things happen.
Well, I think we'd mentioned when we were reviewing issue number 2 that, with the introduction of the guy with, like, the Jesus eyes, as I'm calling them, the holy eyes, that's what we might get up to, is we might get like the angel side of it, and it'll be like maybe the third arc will be like a battle of the 2 families or something like that. So it's as Peter would say, it's definitely building up to something in this particular issue. But for me, I think issue number 4 really needs to pick it up and explain a lot of things. Just let's just concentrate on 1 or 2 characters and get the pace right, because there's so many people and you don't know who's talking. You're just like, okay, well, what does that relate to? But yeah, fingers crossed it will improve.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So, moving on to the next comic, we had Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives, written by Dan Watters and Ram V, art by Matthew Roberts. 4 covers. Well, there was quite a few covers out this week. The 4 best ones were the Matthew Roberts main cover, cover B, which is phenomenal, by Joshua Middleton. We've got the Encased Comics Vincenzo Riccardi variant cover, and then we have the Funky Town Comics and Vinyl Nimit Malavia variant cover. Pete, you kind of have been picking up these Universal monsters as I have. What did you think of this one?
So I went into this initially really excited because I thought it was going to be really cool. A few people commented and said that it wasn't as good, that it was a bit of a letdown. So I was kind of a bit when I went in thinking, oh god, this is going to be cack. I'm not a massive Ram V fan, I have to say. Sometimes his work confuses me. I absolutely loved this. This was everything I needed it to be. I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Dracula, if I'm being honest. It's a slow burn in terms of you don't get to see loads of monster action straight away, but I liked that. I love that first page you've got there where you see the kind of the outline of the creature moving behind her and stuff like that. I'm liking the narrative of, obviously she's undergone a lot of trauma and this guy's tried to drown her at some point, so I think that's an interesting link. I don't think I'm missing anything in terms of, it's Christ, 25, 30 years since I've seen the original movie. And I know this is meant to be a kind of a follow-on in some way, but I didn't recognise any of the characters from it. But I don't think that mattered, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm missing anything from that. I like the art style. So yeah, for me, this was a much better read than I expected. And I'll definitely be reading on. I did enjoy it. And I love the artwork of the creature. I think it looked great.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, it's been so long since I read a Creature from the Black comic or seen a TV show or whatever they alluded to in it. But I did enjoy this, and I've got to say what Fuzzy said. I enjoyed this more than Dracula.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Frankenstein because I think that will be the best one. I think that's going to be enjoyable. But I enjoyed this. I kind of, it was engaging because I want to see what happened to her. I want to see where her story's going, who she's after, how it's all going to come out and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The art was great. I don't think it's a horror comic as such, like the scarier comics out there. It weren't. Yeah, I mean, Ram V's doing quite a lot of stuff at the moment.
I think the horror in this, and sorry to jump in before Andy, I think the horror in this is going to be the human element, not the creature. It'll be this murderer, this guy who's going around strangling people.
Yeah, because I think she's obviously had a run-in with him, because on that last panel on the right-hand side, you can kind of see that, and she's already said that, is this over now? Is this going to be the time that it happens and stuff like that? So it's going to be interesting to find out what's happening, why she's gone to find this guy, and what's going to happen and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it. I don't think it was actually too bad. Like for the Universal Monsters run, I think with this and Frankenstein coming up in August and then Dracula, I think there were good 3 comics to read, but this for me was better than Dracula so far. Andy?
So, I read this twice. The first time I read it, I think I may have rushed it because I came instantly away from it thinking, that was a bit pants. I didn't enjoy that. And I decided to give it another go, and I slowed down my pace of reading it, and I took in each panel, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I think it taught me a lesson that I just need to stop rushing comics and having that instant reaction to them. You've got to give yourself time to, take it in almost.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue with film adaptations is the sort of weight of nostalgia and expectancy. I don't know a huge amount about the movie and stuff like that, so I went into this kind of a fresh and not expecting anything, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
It gave me sort of vibes of, like, it was interesting that obviously Ram V's been doing like Batman stories, because it gave me that sort of Feature in the Black Lagoon meets True Detective type vibes. And it felt like, it was interesting you said, Peter, like, you think it will be the human element that will be the monster, and I think you're absolutely right. I think in this book, the creature's going to sort of oversee everything. He sort of casts a shadow over the story, and the main story is going to centre around the real monster, which is the killer. Which I think is really interesting, because it was a point where the locals, where they were talking about what they call the gill man,
Hmm.
and they see it, kills every so often, and they don't see him as a monster. So it's almost like the locals are chasing him as the monster, and she's chasing the
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that juxtaposition between the two of them. So I thought it was fantastic after my second read. It really intrigued me, and I think Ram V is definitely onto something. So I think it was his original story is what it's based on, and forgive me, I can't remember what was the other guy's name it was doing the
Dan
writing.
Waters.
Dan Waters. So I think Dan Waters is writing it based on Ram V's original
Yeah.
script.
Right. Okay.
I think that's the
Okay.
plan. Yeah.
Do you know what I did find
But
interesting about it is that when she was in the crowd and there was something like there was a commotion going on and stuff, it seemed like a lot of the locals are like, this is what normally happens. Like they're kind of
Yeah.
used to it, so they kind of summon this creature from the deep, and they're kind of used to it, and it's like a tribal symbolistic thing. Whereas she was just like, oh, what the hell do you know and stuff like that. I think there's going to be a turn in it, and I think you're right. I think Dan Waters has taken on Ram V's original story and he's adapting it. Are these one shots or are they continuing?
no,
It's
they're
a
continuing
mini
these.
series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's miniseries.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, because I was like kind of looking to it and I couldn't find. I didn't know when like issue number 2 is coming out and stuff like that because I think.
No, it's 4 issues, I think, maybe. I'm not
okay,
sure, but
okay.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it is interesting. I think I did like it. It was definitely different to what something I'd normally read, but yeah, it weren't too bad. I'm good for picking that one, Pete. So thanks for that, mate. This is there we go. Look, James has said number 2 on FOC this week.
Okay.
Perfect. It's 4 issues, and it felt a lot like a Swamp Thing story. I've got the trade paperback of Ram v Swamp Thing, and I haven't even read it. Is it worth reading? If anyone in the chat wants to let me know, I'll crack on with that. But yeah, no, they were two okay comics. I definitely think, Andy, like as you said, slowing down the pacing. Sometimes I find myself doing it, thinking I'm just going to rush through this. If it's not a story, I'll get through it and that'll be done. But this, I slowed down, read it, and really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to the coming issues. All right. Killer indie picks, bish, bash, bosh for next week. Up first. Pete, you pick this.
Did I?
I don't know. Did you not?
I don't think I did. I can't remember. If I did, well, it's because it's Transformers, isn't it? And I love a bit of Transformers. If Von Hoot is still in the chat, which I'm sure he is, remind us, Von Hoot, who's that on the cover? Because that's not RC, is it? It's the same colour palette as RC, but it doesn't look like it.
It's the
Maybe
same
it is.
colours, but it says, welcome to Cybertron. As the Autobots and Decepticons make some tough choices to survive on Earth, the return of, spoiler, will change the war on Cybertron forever.
Interesting. I was really worried when Daniel Warren Johnson stepped away from art duties on this.
Yeah.
But I have to say, the last issue was just as strong in terms of art for me.
George Corona's doing good, you know. He's
Really I mean, good. And I'm enjoying this series. I completely get that I read it with rose-tinted glasses in terms of my love for Transformers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am enjoying this. It's still a good read.
Fuzzy. Losing interest in Transformers now. Don't know how long I'll stick with it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the same.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, see, I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait for Saturday for Energon Universe. It's going to be epic. The thing with that, though, right? So obviously, there's one new comic book day is obviously bringing one out on Saturday, but then a week later they're bringing out the same Energon Universe, which is going for $4.99. So if you don't pick it up for free comic book day, which I was in Forbidden Planet today, and I was speaking to one of the staff there, and they are doing 5 random books in a bag, but they won't include the gold books. They won't include the gold books. And what they're doing, they've got a big poster on their door that says a gold bag full of all the gold comic books for free comic book day will be given out at random to one lucky customer. So it doesn't make sense. So you can literally go in there and you can
Happy free comic book day, everybody.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like we spoke about this last week. The whole enjoyment is going into it and think, oh, I want to get that comic because I want to read it, not just giving a bag of comics and you're like, I've literally got no interest in these comics that I'm going to read.
Yeah.
Right. So
I guess the other thing is a lot of people get overexcited about Free Comic Book Day because of the first appearances and things like that. And I mean, Andy, you're the oracle. I'm trying to think back to any of these Free Comic Book Days that really have lasted beyond the first kind of initial excitement, that have held any kind of financial value. I can't think of many. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think there's, because there's so many of them that there's only one or two. There's a lot of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that aren't necessarily because it's a character first issue.
Yeah.
It's just because it's a one shot story. Umbrella Academy would have been the one that jumps out to me as being the sort of first appearance that sort of shot up in price.
Yeah.
What was the one 2 years? Was there one 2 years ago for Venom and Spider-Man?
Yeah, there was a Venom Spider-Man one. There was a Gameverse one last year that James Keegan was trying to get us to try and get a hold of, but you couldn't get it anywhere for love nor money because it was based on the PlayStation game or something.
Yeah.
But couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah,
it's irritating, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very, very irritating. So, but yeah, this is Transformers issue number 8. Daniel Warren Johnson, George Corona. George Corona is one of the artists that worked with Scotty Young on what was the you I love in the dark.
The me I love in the dark.
Me and you cuddling in the dark. That one.
It's cack.
Yeah. Look, James just said it's now 40 quid for a 9.8.
There you go.
Never gone one. The One Punch Man is really silly now.
One Punch Man's a good show.
That's the One Punch, yeah. So that's Then up next we've got Geiger issue number 2. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Let me just find out the TEI Geiger number 2.
First issue. This was amazing.
It was really, really good. And it says the unnamed saga continues. Tariq Geiger, his two-headed wolf Barney, I want a two-headed wolf called Barney, and their surprising newfound companion beginning their quest along the radioactive roads of the former United States to find a cure for the glowing man's nuclear-powered condition. But in order to obtain the information they need, Geiger's crew must first help a local sheriff catch and kill a masked raider that's pillaging the town. But what Geiger ultimately discovers chills him to his glowing green bones, and the electrician isn't far behind. I am enjoying this. I think I asked this a couple of weeks ago. Is this a remake of the first arc, or is it literally a whole new story? Is it a whole story? It's a whole new story. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what you two thought about this, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I also enjoyed Redcoat as well.
Yeah,
which was pretty good.
Out of all of them, Rook was my favourite, but I really did enjoy this. I thought this was very, very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, I quite like this poster as well. It's pretty cool. And Von Hooter said Ghost Machine is epic. It really is. Like, Ghost Machine is doing a whole new story. I got the last 3 issues of Spider-Man's year 1 off eBay, really cheap. Yeah, I think that's just a big thing. We can touch on it a bit later about free comic book day and stuff. Then we've got Pete. I knew you'd like this one.
Love it. This has been a phenomenal series. The Devil That Wears My Face. Again, a book that you read and you think this should be a movie or a TV series or something. I think a lot of this stuff for me is very much enhanced by the quality of the artwork. Would I be enjoying this story as much if it didn't have Alex's incredible artwork?
I don't think I would.
Probably not. Yeah, I think you're right, Charlie. I think the combination of David Paposi, if I've said his name right, and Alex Cormack working together on this just make it absolutely stunning. And this is the end. So we asked David the other day if this was concluding, and he said yes, it's the end of the story, but he said that there is a massive twist that nobody's kind of predicted coming in the last.
The way he said it, Pete, I was watching the show, and the way he said it, he didn't seem too convinced in what he was saying.
Yeah,
he was like, it's concluding. Yeah.
I think the twist will be interesting. Looking forward to that. But I think obviously if Mad Cave ask him, he'll do some kind of follow-on sequel to this, I think.
But this is another one that you kind of put me onto, and I have to say, I really, really liked it, but it wouldn't work with any other artist. I think once you've read the first 1 or 2 issues, you kind of get used to the art. You kind of get sucked into that whole thing. And Alex Cormack is great at what he does. Great at what he does, and when he finds a writer that he can really let his juices flow and he can kind of get the ink on the page, it's wicked. Andy, are you reading this?
Oh yeah, Yeah, no, it's
Nice.
fantastic. Absolutely
Awesome.
superb.
Like it's
That
yeah,
works great.
it's wicked. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the twist is. I've put issue number 5, but it is issue number 6. This
6.
is the
Yeah,
last
6.
issue. So yeah, and there it is. Von Hoot, True Pete, but is it a horror book or sort of lives or dies with the art and layout? Wicked, absolutely wicked. Man Cave are like go under the radar sometimes. They release some seriously good stuff.
Yeah, some good stuff.
So yeah, definitely. The Deviant number 5. Get in. I feel like it's been ages since this came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Did I pick this one as well?
Yeah,
I feel
you
like
did.
I feel like I've picked all. Did I really pick all of the books this week? Andy, have you picked anything?
I think I picked Transformers, but
Okay. Right. Yeah, I am. I'm loving this series. This. You're right, but Charlie, I feel like it's a good few months since I've read this book.
So issue number 4 came out February.
Okay, yeah, so
So
it is a while.
It is
It is
a
a
couple of
while.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Andy's saying I'm greedy. I am a greedy lover as well. But yeah, I think this is an amazing little story. But again, artwork, guys. Just if you like horror and creepy shit, that cover could look on first glance just like, oh, it's a bit of a weird dull cover. But then when you see the kind of in the window, the creature or whatever he is looking out, it's just, I love it. I'm praying to God that James Tynion doesn't drop the ball on this, because I get that with a lot of his work.
I think he might have done it already, because as Von Hoot says, I've almost lost interest in Deviant, was really into it, but the gap has been ages. Recently, I don't know if there's a problem with the publishers or the delivery times and stuff, a lot of comics are just falling by the wayside, and you have to wait like 2 or 3 months before you get the next issue. Like we're talking about February, March, April, May. It's nearly 3 months that a comic that was coming out every 2 or 3 weeks has just kind of dropped by the wayside. I look fuzzy. Gargoyle have gone from number 3 delayed again to the end of July, 10 months. I've totally switched off of that, and
I've given up.
That had the setup to be an amazing Batman comic, but you know what? It's totally gone. There we go. It's totally gone. But the synopsis for the Deviant 5. Michael Schmitz is working on a book about the man in prison for the grisly slaying of 2 teenage boys 50 years ago. But for Michael, the Deviant killer isn't just his subject, but an obsession, one that changed the course of his childhood. The Deviant returns as Michael's connection to these gruesome slayings begins to unravel. So, is that Michael when he was a child?
Yeah,
On his bike?
Maybe.
Could be, but yeah, I think issue number 4 ended with the police officers and his other half finding the stuff in the wardrobe, and it had the Santa mask and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to find out.
I think Fuzzy's point's well made, mind. This is a 9-issue series.
Yeah,
And I'm starting to feel like it's dragging a little bit now. It's kind of like, and I don't know if that's because of the time between issues or what, but I feel like I've been reading this forever now. Do you know what I mean? It's like.
But this issue comes out in May. The next one comes out in June, and then the next one comes out in July. So then they've kind of picked it up. But this has been great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Kevin has said, I think some of the creators are over extending themselves. I think so too. I think they're taking on too much and not being able to deliver. But there we go. Energon Universe. There we go.
Did I pick this?
No. No. So this isn't the new comic book day. This isn't a free comic book day. This is the one that comes out next week, a special new printing of the Energon Universe, featuring 3 all-new stories from the Energon Universe with stunning revelations for the worlds of Transformers, G.I. Joe and Void Rivals from the biggest names in comics. So this, to me, seems like it's the same story as the free comic book day one. So don't take this as gospel, but I'm just going to suggest that if you can't get it for new comic book day, you're probably going to be able to pick it up the week later.
Yeah.
In a comic book shop. I mean, A Place in Space have already got this on sale, the new free comic book day one on sale for $4.49.
Yeah.
So that's the free comic book day one. They've years past, they used to put them on for £1 if you missed out on them, which is okay. But putting it on for, I think they've got all their new free comic book day comics up there for like £3 or £4 already. So, which is not really interested in that, to be fair. But yeah, if you can't get it, potentially this is the same comic. I don't know. So that's that. There we go. Ain't No Grave. Right, so I see this one literally just browsing, and this is by Scotty Young and George Corona, who's obviously doing the art on Transformers. Ryder, what is this? Ain't No Grave. This unforgiving style journey is an original Maccabee Western fantasy tale for mature readers, told through a Guillermo del Toro-esque lens. Ryder put her violent past behind her when she fell in love and became a mother, but that was before she learned it was all going to be taken away. Now she'll have to pick up her guns once again and ride to kill the one who's behind the threat, which just happens to be death. The genre-bending adventure begins in its double-length first issue with 40 pages of story with no ads. I'm all for this. This looks great.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
I'm kind of all for this. I've recently watched a film with what is it called? It's got it's like a western, horrible western kind of type of thing. You would have watched it, Pete, with Kurt Russell in it, and it's got the it's about a kidnapping and like cannibalism and stuff.
All right.
I'll have to send it to you.
New film. I don't think I've seen that.
No. It's quite old. It flashed up on my timeline. I thought I'd give it a watch. But yeah, this is kind of. I was like, yeah, I'm into the westerns. Let me watch this. Let me pick this up. But yeah, Ain't No Grave. Is this something you pick up, Andy?
100%. I actually seen this on the previews catalogue, and I think I'm really intrigued to see the return of art style for Scotty Young. I'm back to it's, somebody will be able to tell me what it is in the chat, but that's what was the book that he brought out about the little kid?
Midwest? Was it
Midwest?
Yes, it was. Midwest was
Midwest.
Yeah. Wicked, yeah.
And it's a return to that sort of art sort of style, which I'm.
It's
I'm
the
really
same team.
forward to.
So it's Scotty Young, George Corona, Nate Picos, and then it's Jean Ballou. That's the same team that he done Middle West with. It's the same team that he done I Hate Fairyland with. I think him and George Corona worked on The Me and You We Love in the Dark or whatever. So yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. And Scotty Young's killing it at the moment. He's got the big Marvel, the Marvel's big thing that he's got coming out next week. So there's loads of that going on. But yeah, I think when these four work together, the magic seems to happen. So I'm interested to see how this goes on. That film I'm talking about is called Bone Tomahawk.
Yes, yeah.
Have you seen it, Pete?
I have seen it. It's mint.
Have you seen it, Andy?
I haven't seen
Very
it.
good.
No.
Very good.
Fucking, it's
Brutal.
it is very brutal. There's a scene in it with Kurt Russell that I'm fucking like, Jesus Christ, leave him alone. He's got to go back over to Goldie Hawn. Yeah, it's pretty naughty.
Goldie Hawn.
Goldie Hawn. He's got the Goldie
Hawn.
Hawn. There you go. The exclusive Scotty cover is tremendous. One of his very, very best. So
Just speaking of Scotty Young, a slight interjection, if I may. Have you seen that they've now added another kind of label onto his comic covers that are coming out? Mm-hmm. So do you know this? The 28 covers that are coming out or whatever.
Yeah.
They've now added on each cover. There's is it something minis or something kids or something? It's got like an additional stamp, Scotty Young stamp on the covers. It just feels a bit strange. I presume they're just going to be Virgin kind of.
Yes, I know exactly.
Like the Alex Ross ones, you know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'm just going to try and find it now because
I can't remember what the name is.
Yeah. It says the
Big
Scotty
Marvels.
Big Marvels.
Big Marvels.
Yeah, it's in the bottom left-hand corner. It's got the big Marvels in blue, and it kind of says about it. Yeah, I think it's just. I think they're just promoting it over promoting it.
It's just a shame to stick it on the covers.
Yeah. I think if they were getting slabbed and stuff like that, maybe as a label, that would have been nice on the top right hand side. That'd been pretty cool.
Yeah. I picked up Western series this week that had passed me by called Loveless. 24 issues, came out 18 years ago by Vertigo. Great read. The Virgins are the one in 50s. Okay.
Yeah,
Virgins are the one in 50s. And there's a giant issue coming too as well. Okay, cool. But yeah, this looks kind of good. I'm up for reading this. This already would look great as a trade paperback. I think it would just look awesome. Then we've got Andy. Last but not least.
Yeah, I think Peter had mentioned this in one of the FOC shows. I can vaguely remember this. Crocodile Black, issue number 1. Philip Kennedy Johnson and Somnath Pal on the artwork. It's Boom Studios, and the synopsis read: What makes someone turn to crime, especially in a modern pandemic-riddled dystopia? Danny, a seemingly mundane young man lost in escapism with a spiraling lack of control over his life, witnesses something during a delivery job that will change him forever, turning things as dark as the black crocodile skin boots that he can't take his eyes off.
That sounds wicked. Philip Kennedy Johnson is absolutely killing it on Hulk at the moment. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Crocodile Black, awesome.
Yeah, I think this one sounds really interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
Looking forward to seeing this. And I
yeah,
like moving away from superhero-y type comics now and then. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
To
definitely.
crime
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do like that. What was the What was that? I think it was Image or Boom, Andy. We kind of read it a couple of years ago, and it was like about a black box that they was having to go
Was it
around and it.
was it a detective story in the
Yes,
Black Box?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was Matt Kent that wrote it.
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. That
I
kind
know
of
who
just
wrote it, but I
ended.
can't remember the name of it.
That just ended. It was ended. I think we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago that Silver Coin did the same thing. It just ended.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Silver Coin went. I
Yeah, yeah,
enjoyed
yeah,
that.
massively. But yeah, looking forward to this. Fuzzy has said, if they took the regular Marvel logo off, it would work fine. No need to say Marvel twice, indeed. And James, quick plug: anyone who picks up the big Marvel bundle through me, which is still available on the website, will be entered into 27 draws to win each of those 1 in 50s.
Wow.
That's a good deal. And for $81.99, 27 covers, including a poster for Raw. Best price on the internet, mate. Best price on the internet. So with that, saving the best till last, we have Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. That's it. It's coming to an end now. At the end of this issue, someone will die. There's no way to avoid it. We will simply won't try. A horrific plan drives the fate of our bear, and unspeakable actions will give quite a scare. Join us now as we finally lift the veil, as this, my friends, is the end to our tale. I'm looking forward to this. I don't want it to end, but I kind of want to see where it's going to go, where it's going to end and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. I think this has been an outstanding comic of the year. I think, Andy, was it issue number 4 that you said was a filler? Look at that wry smile. I'm only kidding you, mate. I'm with you on this. I thought I didn't think it was great, but it's good. This for me, I'm looking forward to seeing how this pans out. Like this is it. This is gonna be interesting. So
I am calling it now. We've talked about it before. I am 100% convinced. I'm going to look like a right tit if I'm wrong, but 100% convinced that there's going to be some revelation in the last issue where they're all humans, and then they see in the world as animals for some reason. I don't believe these are all animals.
yeah. Well, look,
I can't
Andy,
wait.
what's you're good at predicting comics to come on. What's your thought process behind this? How's it going to end?
I actually quite liked Luke's sort of thought process where
Yeah.
it was kind of a like, if it was like dolls and stuff like that, it'd be like a doll's house. But I can
Yeah.
imagine that sort of, the last page or panel is it backing off, and you just see, these little sort of toy figures and stuff like that, and he's sort of playing out his either fantasies or real life stuff that's happened. I don't believe this is the end. I think that there'll be a major twist in this because IDW just won't let this stop because it's been so popular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there's some good chat in the chat. It simply has to be the greatest finale of all time. I can't imagine it being any other result. I think.
Can I ask, Patrick Hovarth, what else has he actually done? Because I don't feel like that's a name I'm familiar with.
He's a producer and director of horror movies and things like that. So I don't think he's done any other books as far as I'm aware. But there is
He's got a new one coming out. Yeah, there's a Kickstarter. Yeah, that's coming out that Dan Dixon put on the Thought Bubble chat. But no, I'm with you on that. Other than this, I don't think I've ever read anything of his.
Yeah, if you look up IMDb, he's got lots. I think like 3 or 4 different horror sort of low budget movies that he's done.
Okay.
But other than that, nothing else.
Can't freaking wait for Beneath the Trees. It's going to be epic. Issue 5 was closest it's come to a filler. It's closest it's come to a filler. I stand by that.
Get out.
Deadman says, I saw a cover that almost revealed a human shape coming from an animal shape. There we go. This could be mad not to do a follow-up. I think it would be. Do you know what I mean? I really think it would be. Nothing. He did films where there was some online one, and then IDW don't have many hits left. They've got to be begging for more.
Yeah.
I think this was. It would be good to now they focus on the bear to focus on other characters. Do you know what I mean? Right. So, yeah. But it was Andy. I think a few weeks ago that you highlighted that Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees is a line from the Teddy Bear's Picnic.
Yeah, and I went through line by line the lyrics of that just to see if you can pick anything out. And if you actually look at each of the issues, there's little bits of the lyrics that sort of match up, especially in issue number 5, where the two bears fight each other.
Yeah.
And that's why I think in issue number 6 you'll find the two characters who are kind of playing against each other will actually take the form of those two bears, and they'll be fighting together, and it'll be like a foreshadowing of what we've seen in issue 5 will happen in issue 6, and one of them will win, one of them will lose.
Yeah, I think this is. I've literally just noticed that there's also an outline of a bear in red around the outside of the bear's face.
I can't work out what this cover is trying to tell me. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got the pig character, you've got the main character, you've got a bear. I don't know what it's trying to say. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Chris has said a good point. It was the line that inspired the story. Apparently, he wondered what they do that nobody sees. There we go. Does a bear shit in the woods? Who knows? So
imagine if we're really disappointed with issue number 6 and this has been shit all along.
I really hope it doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't happen. Yeah,
but it does happen, doesn't it? If this guy's come from TV movies, how often does your TV series end on a bit of a downer? Do you know what I mean? You think,
how many times have I researched you and said, have you seen that horror film? The ending was shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm hoping,
I don't think there's anything that you can do in issue number 6 that's going to meet any of our expectations. I'm going to throw it out there.
What if a man wakes up at the start, it was all just a dream? Oh, there you go. There's a pig in the shower.
There we go. Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's the indie picks. Moving over to Killer Trades and hardcovers, also coming out on May 8th, which is New Comic Book Day next week.
So this is going to be my preferred way of consuming this book again, because I struggled issue by issue. So this is 136 pages of trade paperback that is coming out, and we all know the story, and this is your opportunity to pick it up and consume it all in one. I'm looking for they didn't give much away as to what the sort of extras that you would get and stuff like that, but I'm hoping some Daniel Warren Johnson sort of prelim sketches and things like that would be pretty cool for us.
I think there's going to be something. If you look at the logo, the new logo, the Energon Universe, I think they're putting these on all their trade paperbacks now. So I don't know if you're going to get something down the spine of the book that kind of, the old Marvel books, when you had them all together, they kind of did something like that. I don't know if they're going to do something like that, but I mean, that's pretty interesting. But I did notice that it says Robots in Disguise, and then I think they've got Volume 2, and I think Void Rivals I see today. Apparently they've got Volume 1 that came out a couple of weeks ago, but then they're looking for volume number 2. They're looking to add this as well. So I don't know.
There's different covers for this trade paperback as well. John Jang's got there's John Jang's got a cover, and there's various other ones. Yeah.
So for a trade paperback, that's pretty.
That's pretty cool.
The price is obviously going to go up extortionately with especially for John Jang. It's probably only going to be able to be purchased in America and stuff. Von Hooter said, I think issue 6 will end like a season of Dexter. She murked that rat prick and Mo in Newtown.
That's what I hope. And then that leaves the door open, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it does indeed. And then we've got Pete, your pick. This is interesting.
Yeah, so Tear Us Apart. I haven't got the synopsis in front of us, and the reason I've picked this is because I remember reading the first issue of this, and then it completely dropping off the radar for us. And I don't think I've read on since. So I was surprised to see this in the trade paperback list. The first issue of this was really strong. It was about some kids in like this far removed cult kind of thing. Yeah, and they were being trained to be killers or something. And at the end of the issue, they kind of escaped and were being hunted down. And they had special powers, and it was just a really interesting first issue. So I'm slightly annoyed with myself that
I even heard of this.
Yeah, I'm slightly annoyed that I missed the rest of the series, if that makes sense. I don't know how I missed the rest of the series. So yeah, I'll be picking this up just to read the story, because the first issue did enjoy it.
I vaguely remember when the issues were coming out. I just can't get that song in my head.
Nothing
In a
I'm not
world of
joking.
blood and cruelty, two teenagers find humanity in each other. Deep in the Canadian wilderness, a vicious cult dedicated to the ideology of pain trains children to become deadly assassins. In the midst of the world of cruelty, two teenagers break the break the cardinal rule by falling in love. The only thing standing between them and happily ever after is an army of murderers with a taste for blood.
First
That
issue
sounds,
was great.
that
First
sounds
issue was
wicked.
great.
That sounds good. That
Yeah.
does sound bloody good. So yeah, Dark Horse Comics, bit of Dark Horse that one. Right. So up next we got the final order cut off top 3. This is where James puts on a show for us over on his website where he shows all the comics for the Slab Crusaders that are going on FAC. So 9 o'clock on a Sunday, get in, place your votes, buy your orders. Otherwise you won't be able to get them anymore. That's it, quite simply. Done. Up first, Pete, you've gone for X-Men 35.
Yeah, the end of the Krakoa saga. This is a cover buy, to be perfectly honest, guys. This is I think this will be a really, really nice wraparound book. You've got some of my key favourite X-Men, X-People on there as well. So I just saw this cover and I thought, yeah, I love the aesthetic of it. I love the design. I like the crisp white background to it. So yeah, I'll be buying this one purely for a cover buy. But also, it's an end of potentially a long-term storyline. So it's a nice milestone book to get a hold of.
Yes, nice big cover, nice big cover. And have you got any interest in X-Men?
Not much, to be honest with you. There's not been like a series or a book that I've picked up that is sort of intrigued me enough to keep reading. I'm just wondering, would Magneto not stick to that wheelchair?
It would. It'd be.
Depends what he's been doing with his hands. He's not actually magnetic to touch. Do you know what I mean? He turns his powers on and off, or else he'd be in all kinds of difficulty, wouldn't he, if things were flying around? Well, what I would say, Andy, is, are you watching the X-Men cartoon?
No.
So I'm really kind of, I can't make my mind up whether I'm loving it or not. Some episodes are cack, as far as I'm concerned, but every now and then there's a great episode. This week's episode was friggin' amazing. Absolutely amazing. Loved it. It's worth watching. This one and the Genosha episode are very
The Genosha one was great, but the one after that had no relevance to it. It was shit.
Oh, utter shit.
And then the one after that was okay, and then this week's episode was awesome.
I'm still waiting for our Cockney friend to send me a link to him.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
oh,
sorry.
you not got that thingy. Right.
No, there we go. Right, so that's the X-Men 35 Marvel Comics. Then we've got, let's go to this, Harley Quinn 40, DC Comics, De La Rue variant cover. Love it. Not much to say about it. Look at the tush.
Each of the week.
Each of the week. Look at the card. I would love this comic if it came with that card as a collectible item.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Right. But, probably not going to happen. So, yeah, Harley Quinn 40, DC Comics. Look at that. Awesomeness. And look at that Harley Quinn sign just by her back. Loving that. So, yeah, you two clearly don't have an interest in this, so I'll swiftly move on.
This is my preferred version of Harley. I have to say, I like the kind of the more animated style version of her. I like this.
Me too. Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. And then...
Cover by John Jang variant. Cover B for Flash number 9. It's definitely not Marvel. So I don't care about Flash. But this cover, we know John Jang's style really, really well now, and if there's any characters that relate to it and are going to come across really well, it's going to be the Flash, because his covers are all about the speed, and there's lots going on in it. I think this is absolutely superb. Have we seen this sort of pose before with Flash? Yeah, we have. But I just love this cover. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
The way he does his art that makes it look 3D. When you put the glasses on and it makes it look 3D, the old green and red glasses, it's wicked. It really is well done. So yeah, no, this is wicked. James Breen has said, I said a couple of weeks ago, I wish someone would do a good Flash cover, and oh my god, John Jen absolutely killed this. Yes,
this needs to be a foil cover as well. Yeah. I don't know if there's any plans to do that, but this would look great in foil.
It's one of the better Jiangs for me. I can see this, James, being your top FOC. Easy, I reckon. So that's it. Sneak peek of the week. So these are the 4 comics that are up for the vote next week. We've got Andy's pick.
Yeah, I went for the Blood Brothers Mother, which we sort of gave a bit of a synopsis last week. I haven't heard anything about it. I've not read it yet, so I'm going to put this up for the vote.
Then we've got your pick, Peter.
Yeah, this is, I think it's an out of continuity story. Can't remember who the writer is, but it's the guy who did Punisher a while ago and was superb. Is it, not Dylan, is it Steve Dillon? Can't remember. But I remember loving his run on Punisher. It was kind of a seminal run on Punisher. And this is him basically hunting down Nick Fury. I cannot wait to read it. I like
Ennis,
it.
isn't it?
Garth Ennis, that was it. Garth Ennis. Yeah, Garth Ennis. I love it when Marvel just goes a bit balls to the wall and just lets them do whatever the hell they want. And they did that with Garth Ennis's Punisher run. So I can't imagine this being anything other than brilliant. So yeah, looking forward to this one.
I've gone for Bear, Pirate, Viking, Queen. We mentioned this last week. I think this is going to be batshit crazy, so why wouldn't we go for that? And then I've put in Energon Universe, the free comic book day, to see what's happening in that, to see if that's going to be any different to the one that's coming out next week. So we will see that. Now, heading over to Killer Cover scoreboard for this week. I think it's been a close week. Let's end the poll. Right, so we have in last place, we have Peter with 23%. In second place, we have Andy with 36%. And in top place, just a nipple in front, you've got me with 40%. The comeback is on.
Wow.
It's on, and I'm coming for you two. I'm coming for you, bitches. Yeah, boy. I'm coming to get you. I'm going to sneak up from behind, give you a big
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Charlie. Well done.
Thank you very much. It's I just want to say a massive thank to my fans. It's taken a while to get here, and the hard work's paid off. So thank you.
God, he's milking this one, isn't he?
I am milking this one. There we go. So moving on to the housekeeping for the week. You can follow me over on Instagram /Geeky Guy Comics, and also on Twitter or on X or whatever you young kids want to call it these days. You can follow me over there. As always, if he hasn't taken up all of your YouTube algorithm and thumbnails, it's YouTube royalty. It's Mr. Triple G. What have we got planned for us this week?
I've got not a lot of stuff in terms of live shows this week because I'm away in London at the weekend, so there'll be no Saturday Night Live. Be back on Monday with some kind of show. Haven't decided what yet. But if I can just encourage you to go and check out One Good Scare Show over on YouTube. We've put out our Scooby-Doo Zombie Island review today. It's fair to say Mr. Keegan loved the cartoon. Me not so much. But so yeah, please do go check that out.
Andy?
Nice. Yes, Instagram, you can find me at perpetual.comics, on X at perpetualcomics. And big shout out to everybody who left comments over the last couple of weeks. Dr. Von Hoot, you owe me an address so that I can send you some comics from last week, so slip into my DMs. And you can also find us at the Killer Comic Show on Instagram and on X at Killer Comic Show.
Ooh. Time for the pickups. What's everyone got? I haven't got anything. I'm saving it for New Comic Book Day when I go get my free stuff.
I just have two, so I do.
Two boxes or just two?
Yeah. Wow. So these are two Joshua Middleton covers. And this is issue number 0 of Sky Between the Branches.
Oh,
so
wow.
Heard of that.
That's gorgeous.
There was two covers that he done. So there's this one and this next one, which is fantastic. So this is actually the back cover.
Nice.
This is the front cover.
Nice.
So this is quite a sought after book. There was only 999 of these released.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I managed to pick this up for a great price on eBay. If you're looking for this, it's relatively difficult to find unless you're going to pay up for it. But this is early Joshua Middleton work, and it is absolutely stunning. I love it.
It looks nice.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
That was me.
Nice pickups.
I've got well, I'm not going to go through all of these. I'll just show you a couple. I've picked up a copy of the 2008 version of Garth Ennis' book, The Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe. I've got the square-bound version of this as well. This is a phenomenal little read. If anybody's not read it, amazing artwork by Doug Braithwaite. This is kind of the first book that really got me into Marvel version kind of what-ifs, where Punisher literally, very inventively, wipes out the entire Marvel universe. And there's some great kills in this, if you're into that kind of stuff, which I am. So yeah, it's well worth a read. Great book.
Did they do a Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe Max version?
So this kind of started a whole universe of these
Yeah.
Avengers kill them, Deadpool kills the Avengers and all kinds of stuff. But this is the start, and it's great.
Okay, cool.
And it's contained one shot as well.
Yeah.
I picked up a couple of books on Whatnot on a mystery box from our good
Andy,
friend.
you're not doing your job, mate. You need to
Well,
stop
he was
him.
there. He was there. He supported us as well. From Redstars Comics, I got this. Boobies.
Nice. Is that a Nathan Shirzy?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. So with that, you also got this, which is signed by Nathan Shirzy, and it's rather sexy. I quite like that.
Power Girl. Oh, look at it.
Yeah, so yeah, and I love the tattoos on our
Yeah, I
arm.
bet you do. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
So that's a nice book.
Okay.
I do like that. I got a whole host of kind of vintage books as well, but I'll go through those another time.
Oh, they look
But
wicked.
what I wanted to show you is this has just come through today. You guys have been reading Duke
Yes.
from Skybound, yeah? I know you aren't big G.I. Joe guys, but this character has appeared and he's a big G.I. Joe, well-beloved character. So this is from 3016 scale figure, and this is Deathstroke. Yeah. So, and it's a stunning figure. He's got a seamless body, so it's all soft and squidgy. All kinds of weapons with him and all kinds of stuff. So I'll show them in more detail later on.
Wicked,
But
man.
yeah, it's very cool. His eyes are actually red inside that kind of skull, and
Detailing
it's just
on these
stunning.
figures these days is amazing.
Really, really cool. So I like that. I like that a lot. So he's very cool.
Nice.
And I've got me Batmobile coming tomorrow. I'm hoping the wife doesn't see it because the
Send her
box
out.
is huge. Yeah.
And,
That's all my stuff.
Wicked. Guys, that's been another fantastic show. Massive thanks to everyone in the chat, as you do each and every single week you stick by us. Thank you very much. Thank you to you two for making my Thursdays always enjoyable. Pete, enjoy your weekend in London. I'm sure you'll drink copious amounts of alcohol with Ron Hoot and Ed if he shows up.
Teetotal.
Enjoy. Are you going to be doing a video about The Last of Us harmonica?
I would imagine sure. I would imagine sure. I turn into Sean Connery. I would imagine sure. No, yes, I'm sure I will. I don't know what James is wanting to do, whether it's going on One Good Scare or what. But I'll probably do a video on. We're going to go to Camden Market as well, hopefully. So I might do a little video on that.
There's a nice comic book shop in Notting Hill. So if you get a chance to go over there, it's literally as soon as you come out the tube station, it's on the right hand side, Notting Hill Gate, and it's there. Pretty decent.
I'll check that out as well.
Pretty small and hidden away. So I'll send you the address for that.
Good stuff,
But
mate.
yeah, great stuff. Another fantastic show. Always enjoy spending time with you and everyone else in the chat. That is it from us. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good bank holiday, and we shall see you same time next week. See you later.
Bye.
Good night.